In this video, I'm going to talk about some of the transformation tools that you can find in Grasshopper. Now, I've already got some objects sort of set up in the Grasshopper space. And instead of going through those one by one, I just want to talk about them generally. I think you'll be able to kind of find what you need and set your screen up to be, somewhat similar to what I have here. Okay, so as you can see here on the left, I've got a polygon. It's a 5-sided polygon. And the reason that we're using this is so that we can see visually how some of these transformations are going to impact the geometry. So just to sort of recap, and again, I won't go through where all of these things are, but for the polygon tool, you can find that under the curve primitive listing here. Okay, and you're going to need to create a number slider just as a kind of a recap of that. You're going to find a number slider under param input number slider. And there's also the panel there. Now, of course, with many of these, with all of these really, you can use just the double click and search for these items. But sometimes there are different references to different tools. So just need to make sure that the one that you bring in looks like the one that I have here on the screen. So just as also as a recap, just remember that, how to sort of set up the slider if you wanted it to have decimals and things like that. For this assignment, I would ask that you use the integer numbers for that, and that you set the max to 10 by double clicking here and typing in 10, and go ahead and start to connect the sliders to where I have them here. Now for these other components here, we have a series of transformation tools. There's 6 of them, and you're going to find these under transform. Okay, the first 3 you'll find under Euclidean. So we need to bring in here mirror, move, and rotate. Again, those are in the Euclidean, under the Euclidean panel, mirror, move, rotate. You can just drag those in. And I've attached a panel to each of these so I can see, once we start to make some connections, kind of what, the positions and sort of characteristics of whatever the inputs are. So just as a reminder, params, input, panel, and of course you can double click, type in panel, and choose from that list right there. And I've connected them all to the X. So we're getting this kind of reading of what's happening for each of these transformations. All right. Also going to need a point that has a couple of sliders attached to it. So the sliders, probably what you want to do is take this one here, Control C or Command C to copy, and you'll be using that for this construct point. So you can double click and type in construct point. You can also find this particular one if you go to vector and you choose construct point here. One additional one that we haven't used yet is the X vector. You'll find that one under the vector panel of the vector menu. So it's called Unit X, and it has a slider attached to it as well. Okay, so that's the basic setup. And once you have that all done, what we'll be doing is kind of plugging in the different transformations to our polygon, and we'll just kind of observe what those changes will do to the geometry.